Tonight we're celebrating the birthday of the Rabbi Rashab, and Chayesar is also dedicating tonight's class to L'Uli Nishmas of Rav Shalom Rabbi. The Rabbi Rashab, whose birthday is today, was staying in a hotel in Vienna, and across the hall from him there was a singer rehearsing his lines, rehearsing his song, and the Rebbe Rashab was listening intently to him singing. It's open, look at this. And he said to his attendant that's not working in his home that the singer is missing a note. He's missing a note. So he told his attendant, go over across the hall and tell the singer that he's not singing it right. He's missing a note. So went across the hall.
This is a Jewish song or a non-Jewish song?
Non-Jewish singer with a non-Jewish song.
Okay.
And the singer was so surprised that the Rebbe knows his song. I don't know if it was his own composition or wasn't his own composition, but he was very surprised that the Rebbe knew the song. This rabbi knows the song, and he knows he's listening so carefully that he missed just. He could tell he was missing one note. He could tell that. He could discern that. He was shocked, and he told the attendant, the secretary, the Rebbe Rashab, it's true, I did miss the note, but please tell the Rebbe that the reason I missed the note is because when I'm singing by myself, I can't get to that note. When I'm singing in an audience of everyone behind me, with me, I had the energy of everyone attending, I can get to the high note. So he asked the Rabbi Rashab actually to come to the theater to watch him sing. He wanted the Rabbi Rashab to see. I don't know the ways of tzaddikim, of course, but the Rabbi Rashab first told him that he wasn't going to come. He doesn't go to the theater. The guy begged. The Rabbi Rashab said, "I'll go to backstage." He agreed to go backstage to listen to him sing, and he listened. He stayed there till the guy got to the high note, and then the Rabbi Rashab. I was thinking about the story. I think it's a very relevant story to each of us, because we all need someone to help us get to the high note. We can't get to the high note by ourselves. In order to be who we're meant to be, we need to have someone in our lives who is a personal spiritual mentor, a soulmate, someone that helps you get to the high note. You can't do it by yourself. We're just coming tonight together, right? Every one of us is have our own places to be and do, and coming together is just it's meaningful. It's meaningful. It helps us get to the high note. We can't do it by ourselves. So this is very relevant to this week's Torah portion. We read about the first marriage of Yitzchak and Rivka, and the Torah gives us a very deep insight about marriage in general and about the motive, why of getting married. It talks about how Avram wanted to find a burial place for his wife Sarah. And the Torah says that the source for the laws of marriage come from the purchase of the burial place for Sarah. How do we know that when a man gives a woman a ring or any item of value, the marriage is valid? We know this because the Torah uses the expression, a man will take a wife, and that's the same language the Torah uses when it says that Avram took the burial plot. Yikach. Yikach means to buy. Yikach means to get married. So Talmud learns from this in the Kedushin. The Talmud says here, this teaches us that in order to get married, it's a man gives a woman. How am I doing for you? I'll be faster unless I'm always loud. For a man to get married, he has to give a woman a ring. Why? Because the word for Avram's purchase of the burial plot was the same word that's used for marriage. That's what the Torah says. So the question is, it doesn't seem to me befitting that we learn about marriage from a burial. How does it make sense that we're learning about marriage from a burial? It's true that Talmud just wants to learn the word of the word for purchasing, and that the marriage has a similarity because you're giving something of value. But everything's by divine providence. Everything has a reason, especially in Torah. So the question is, So the answer is this. There's actually several answers. One answer is a burial place is called a Beit Almin, a place of eternity, because the souls go to heaven, and heaven is eternal, even though the souls will return to this world, coming Mashiach any second. But it's called a Beit Almin, a place of forever, because the soul goes to heaven, and heaven exists. Heaven lasts forever. So in a similar way, when a person gets married, the Torah is telling him that you have to know when you're going to get married, you shouldn't approach it as a temporary thing. You shouldn't say, in the next year I'm going to change my car, and change my wife, and change my house, and change my shirt. If you get married, you have to go and get married, and you have to know that you're going to this marriage forever. That's why you have to approach marriage. The second thing the Torah says is this. After Avram bought the burial place for Sarah, how did Avram feel? And how did the person he bought it from feel? How did Ephron feel? How did Ephron feel and how did Avram feel? Ephron felt, I made a killing today. You know what I accomplished today? Ephron went home to his wife that day and he said, you know what happened? That they know that garbage property that we couldn't sell? Well, guess what? I sold that property for millions of dollars, for 400 silver coins. That property that no one wanted to buy, I made a killing. That's how he went home. How did Avram go home? Avram knew the secret of the cave. Who was buried in that cave? Adam and Chava, Adam and Eve. So this wasn't just a valuable piece of real estate. This was the most valuable piece of real estate in the world. So Avram went home feeling he got a better deal, and Ephron went home thinking that he got the better deal. In a similar way, when you get married, you have to feel that you're the lucky one. You have to feel when you get married that you're the lucky one. Just like Ephron felt that way, and Avram felt that way. We learned from this. That's how marriage is supposed to be. The third thing here, third message here. The cave was a double cave. It was a cave within a cave. Different opinions about how it was shaped, but it wasn't just what you saw. There was another layer there, another layer beneath. And similar way, when people get married, they think they're getting married for A, B, and C. But the Torah says that the truth is that a marriage is a connection of two halves of one soul. And then the marriage is a connection of two halves of one soul. So even if there's a bump on the road in the marriage, but if you feel that this is the other half of your soul, you're not so quick to look at that bump as a brick wall, because you realize that there's something deeper. There's a deeper bond we have here that's more than what meets the eye. So the idea of the cave that Avram bought in relationship to marriage is that marriage has another layer. There's a reason you think you're getting married. Then there's another layer beyond what you know. There's also an interpretation that was shared, named the Alter Rebbe. The Alter Rebbe said another interpretation. The Alter Rebbe said a Chassidic interpretation. And the Alter Rebbe's interpretation gives us insight to all other interpretations. The Alter Rebbe said, to understand the Alter Rebbe's interpretation, maybe we should go we should unpack what we just said a little bit more. People get married for all kinds of reasons. Sometimes a person is getting married because he's attracted physically to his spouse. A person is getting married because he wants companionship. A person has some issues by himself, he figures with a companion to solve the issues. It's one way of looking at it. And if that's what a person is looking at, it's an egotistical marriage. It's a marriage because of something that he needs, that he wants to get. And the truth is, he's not marrying someone else, he's marrying himself. He's getting married because he wants to get something. It's not about marriage, it's really just satisfying something in himself. It's not real marriage. When the looks change, and if you want to marry someone because when he leaves that home, he loses the home, the marriage doesn't last. The Torah says about Yitzchak marrying Rivka, fascinating. The Torah says he marries Rivka, then what does it say afterwards? And he loved her. It says first he married her, then he loved her. It sounds like he didn't like her before, and only after he married her loved her. What's going on over here? The Torah is giving us an insight. The Torah wants us to have a richer understanding of what marriage is. What does a richer understanding mean? A richer understanding means, let's say I go to Shlomo, says, Shlomo, I want to offer you a job. There's this guy, he has this company, and he needs a manager, I want to offer you the job. And Shlomo's like, okay, how much is he paying? So I say he's paying $20 an hour. So someone's like, $20 an hour? I could do better than $20 an hour. Tell somebody else. I say, Shlomo, one second. The main thing is not the paycheck. You're going to work with this guy. This guy is very wealthy. He has a lot of connections, a lot of different businesses. You should get into his company. Also get the experience with this guy. It's not, don't just look at the specific detail of what you're getting paid. Look at the broader picture. In a similar way, we have to realize that the way we experience things has to do with the way we define them. The way we look at the purpose of something, that's how the thing really we experience. It's so important. Anything in life, it doesn't have to do necessarily only with marriage. The way your goal is for something, that's how that you experience that thing. So if someone looks at marriage just for those reasons I mentioned, the marriage is going to dissolve. It's not based on anything that's real. It's going to start. It's going to stop. The Torah says that marriage is deeper. The Torah says there are two halves of one soul. You know, when Adam and Eve were created, we all know that they were actually attached on the back. Adam and Eve were attached in the back. Mm-hmm. But not like Siamese twins. Siamese twins is a very difficult thing. Siamese twins are two different people. They're just attached by the heart, they're attached by the hand, attached by something in their body. They can't go to different places, but it's very painful because they want to go to different places. But Adam and Eve weren't attached that way. Adam and Eve were attached like your two hands are attached to your body. Adam and Eve were one person. Adam and Eve were one person. When a God separated Adam and Eve, he didn't just separate Adam and Eve, he separated all the souls. Every soul that exists, first one soul, with a masculine and a feminine. Every soul is masculine and feminine, both. And when Hashem separated Adam from Eve, he separated every soul into two pieces, two parts. So, when a Jew gets married, what does the Torah say? The Torah says that the divine presence, the Torah says when a husband and wife get married, the Shekhinah lives between them. The Hebrew word for a man is Ish. Hebrew name for a woman is Isha. The name Isha has Aish, the fire of hay. Ish, man, is fire of Yud. So the Yud and the Hay together is Hashem's name. Yud and Hay. What about the other two letters of Hashem's name? Some interpret Vav and Hay to having a son and daughter. Some interpret the Ksuba. And the Ksuba, it also has a Vav and a Hay, which could, beyond the word, the writing, there's a Vav and a Hay, and that's what completes the husband and wife. But the point is, the divine presence, the Shekhinah, Hashem himself rests. What? You gave Avke. You know that Rabbi Shimon Zalman Auerbach, all Shalom, whenever he would go home, before he got home, he would straighten out his tie, he would straighten out his jacket. One of his students, every time his student was escorting him, was like, "What are you doing?" He said, "What are you talking about? This is where the Shekhinah is. This is where God is. God is here. In the home, there's a Shekhinah." So that means that marriage is a lot bigger than your feelings. It's not because, like Yitzchak says, first he married her, then he loved her. Yitzchak realized that it wasn't the love that is the marriage. It's the marriage that comes first. In other words, there's something you know about marriage itself that's beyond the feelings. It's not about the feelings. There's a connection you have to your spouse, which is analogous to the connection that a Jew has with Hashem. Let me say it this way. Someone wrote to the Rebbe, he's having a hard time with his wife. The Rebbe wrote back, the Jewish people are called the wife of Hashem. So if you want Hashem to be nice to his wife, to you, be nice to your wife. Let me say it this way, the Rebbe said. The Zohar says that whatever response Hashem gives us has to do with our efforts. So if you want Hashem to be nice to his wife, the Jewish people, then you want, in other words, to be nice to you, then make an effort first. You go out of your way to be kinder to your wife, you'll see Hashem responds in the same way. What that means is, it's not just about Hashem being kind to us, not just what we're going to get, it also tells us about the purpose of creation. In other words, just like when a husband and wife get married, they're now becoming one soul. I'll give you a hand, I'm good at this. I have a lot of experience. When a husband and wife have peace in the home, there's a connection that causes a connection in heaven and earth. When a husband gives his wife a listening ear, he listens deeply to her, and he goes out his way to care for her and to be kind to her. When the wife and the husband give to each other, that creates holiness in the world. The connection of husband and wife is to bring together the heaven and the earth. The heaven and earth are affected by the bond in a husband and wife. And just like the temple, the Beis HaMikdash, was created by many stones, so too in every marriage of the Jewish people, throughout history, since Yitzchak and Rivka's marriage, to every marriage that exists today, and the one that will exist, it's all one golden chain. And every time that you give of yourself to make peace at home, you're building a stone in the Beis HaMikdash, in your Beis HaMikdash, in your small temple. And the truth is, it's not just your small temple, it's just like in the Beis HaMikdash, in the actual temple in Jerusalem. Every stone matters. Which stone is this? Is this a stone from the Holy of Holies? Is it a stone from the courtyard? Is it a stone from the Kodesh? Every stone was part of the temple.
Rabbi, it's a good thing that you preceded this by saying that a person should choose a marriage based on the right precept, not for selfish reasons, not for companionship, and thinking that it's going to solve their problem.
I'll give you an example.
No, sorry to interrupt. Because how could a husband and a wife, how could one compromise to the other one when when the wife is not giving to the husband, if he thought it was for the wrong reasons, then it's hard to establish peace. So, the way I understand it, it's very good that you started with that. And if I can just add one thing from...
I have to leave.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Understood.
Okay.
I'll leave it as a voice note for you.
Thank you. Okay, so Yosef, what I want to say is like this. I want to bring it home. There was a friend of mine. He lives in Antwerp, and he was somebody inspired in his community to make steps in his Judaism. This guy started learning with the rabbi every week, and one day they're learning a section of the Torah which mentions that a Kohen cannot marry a convert. The guy turned white. He said, the only reason I wanted to learn Torah with you is because I was interested in this girl who's a convert, and I'm a Kohen. What should I do now? And the only reason I'm keeping Shabbos, keeping kosher, I want to see if I could enjoy this so I can marry her. So the Rebbe, he asked a bunch of rabbis to take away his kahuna, but it's a myth. You could choose to stop being a kohen. People think you could decide I'm not going to be a kohen anymore. It's not true. If a person discovers that his kahuna is not actually a kohen, then he's not doesn't obligate to be. And it's possible that you may think you're a kohen, not actually a kohen. But if you're a kohen, you cannot marry a convert. So he asked a bunch of rabbis. It wasn't like today. You could find any rabbi to say anything. Today, you go to RabbiYes.com, RabbiNoah.com. You can find any rabbi to say anything you want to say. But in those days, when the story took place, it wasn't so easy. You couldn't find any rabbi in the phone book that you wanted. And so he came back to my friend empty-handed. What do I do, Rabbi? I love her and I don't know what to do. So he told him to write to the Rebbe. And the Rebbe answered, more or less, what the Rebbe said was, this can't be your soulmate. Before a person is born, 4 days before you're born, Hashem announces your soulmate. This can't be your soulmate because if it was your soulmate, then you would have been born as a non-Kohen, or she would have been born as a Jew, and then you'll be able to be married. The fact that you weren't born that way, that indicates that it isn't your soulmate. So this guy, he really took what the Rebbe said inside himself. He really took what the Rebbe said to heart, and he actually parted with her, and he built a beautiful home. He has children and grandchildren, rabbis. He really understood, he really appreciated what the Rebbe said, that the marriage is bigger than our feelings. It's higher than us. It's beyond us. There was a couple, they invited this girl to their home. Girl was making her first steps in Judaism, and they invited this girl to her home to see what Shabbos is like. And the couple lived in a 2-story house. The bedrooms are upstairs. Downstairs is the dining room. And after they finished the meal on Friday night, so the girl went to sleep, and the couple was staying downstairs had to discuss an issue that they wanted to discuss. It was a heated topic, and they're going at it. The topic going back. They're going at each other, and while they're going at each other arguing, one of them walks past the kitchen, and sees the girls drinking a cup of tea. They're so ashamed. They're so embarrassed. And after Shabbos was over, they're thinking this girl is never going to try Shabbos again. What she saw in our home, she'll never ever try Shabbos again. So after Shabbos, she sends them a message. Thank you so much for inviting me. I really feel that I want to keep Shabbos from now on. And really, what happened? What did you see? So the Shabbos was nice, but the most impressive thing to me was when you guys were arguing. It was so impressive. What was so impressive to her? That even though you were arguing, I could feel in your argument the respect you had for each other. You were arguing, disagreed. You disagreed. There was period hadayot, not period lavav. There was separation of opinion, not separation of hearts. There's a real respect you had for each other. And while you're arguing, you still had that respect. That's the idea of Yitzchak marrying Rivka first and then loving her. We have to realize something, which is really the point I wanted to say before, which puts it all together. The Alter Rebbe said there's another reason why we learn from the field of Ephraim. We learned, I mentioned before, that the field of Ephraim is a source in the Torah. The purchase of the field of Ephraim is a source of that. How we know that marriage is done by a man giving a woman a ring or anything of value. Now they're married. Why do we learn it from the field of Ephraim? So I said one explanation was because the field had 2 layers. So too marriage has 2 layers. Another explanation was that the husband has to think that he got the better deal. His wife has to think that she got the better deal. And a third explanation is that just like a burial plot is called a forever place, so too marriage is to be in your mind, it's forever. But the Alter Rebbe said another explanation. Without the Alter Rebbe's explanation, you're not going to get anything. The Alter Rebbe said a field is made of soil, made of earth. The key to it all is humility. When you're going to fight, you don't think it's the other half of my soul. You think like there's not going to be a tomorrow. You don't think there's another layer. You don't think you have the better half of the deal. You don't think there's the other half. All those things go out the window when you lose your humility. It's your humility. It's a fact that you know this is bigger than you. You have this idea that you're getting married because it's a shlich, it's a mission of Hashem, that Hashem wants you to do something, and that's why you put you together. When you have that appreciation that there's a connection here that's beyond, like a father and son, they love each other, and love helps them communicate and connect to each other. But it's not because they love each other that they're father and son. And so to a husband and wife, it's true that they Hashem built this love for each other, but that's not what it is. There's a mission, there's a divine calling. And because there's divine calling, Hashem put these 2 people together. And they got together for all kinds of reasons that they thought. But beyond that, there's something else. And what puts you in touch with that deeper reason? What puts you in touch with that deeper reason is the humility, to realize this is bigger than you. And that's what we see in the first marriage of Jewish people. Yitzchak marries Rivka, and then he loves her. How does he love her? He loves her because she steps on his toes. Why do you love someone? He loves her because he burnt her dinner. Why does he love her? Because she burnt the dinner and she steps on his toes? Because whenever you have a challenge, you realize I'm building something, I'm bringing the Shekhinah to the world. This isn't just a simple thing I'm going to be upset about, I'm not going to be upset about dinner. I wanted it to be turkey burgers, and instead there's beef salami. This is really good, by the way. Anyways, the way, when a person looks at life that way, then they realize this is a challenge. I have opportunity now to build something for Hashem. This is a brick in the Beis HaMikdash. I'm going to ignore this brick. If you have the humility to realize it's bigger than you, and that your 2 halves are one, that puts everything in context. And then, Baruch Hashem, then the Shekhinah is there, divine presence is there, and then you could sing your higher note. So l'chaim, all those who are here who need to find their soulmate, Hashem should bless them to find their soulmate. Amen. And the most important thing is to realize that you're not a shidduch. Your life doesn't start when you get married. Your life starts now. Your life starts where you are, in the circumstances that you're in. You have a mission where you are. You know, when a person, after we finish eating, when we say the bracha, shechatamta v'sereinu. We say, thank you Hashem for the circumcision. Women say that bracha too. Why women say that bracha? They say that bracha because they are also fulfilling this mitzvah by their soulmate, by the other half of their soul. So I'm not going to get into divorce. People don't find their soulmate. The important thing is we all have to stay connected to each other, to come to Febrengen. I'm telling you, I want to miss this class. I'm doing something which is elite, which is considered sacrifice by Los Angeles standards. I'm driving back and forth to La Brea twice in 1 hour. It's not a big deal for me, but that's what I say is it's important to stick together. It's important to stick together. And when you stick together, we get to the soul, we get to the higher note. Avish help us. We should get to the high note. The coming Mashiach Tzekenu. We should sing the 10th song. Mashiach comes. We'll sing the 10th song. You know which song we're going to sing? The Rebbe said once the content of the song. He said which song. So the song is going to be about Yet Nikavod Kramivan. That's what it's going to be about. Chayim l'vracha.
Thank you.